The androids, a unique and interesting set of characters wanted within Dragon Ball Xenoverse now since the beginning. Many of us fans have been patiently waiting for the official announcement of Xenoverse 2, and I'm joined here today by JR Saiyans to talk about and share our thoughts on a possible introduction of the androids in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Now, we actually covered the premise of the Saiyan God class and the Namekian God class in previous episodes, alongside the Majin classes as well. Go on ahead and check the videos out down in the description below and share your thoughts on it in case you guys haven't checked it out. Now, JR, I personally would love to see several features included within the android class in the next Xenoverse game. One feature in particular would be having the androids have different evolutions as to what they do, similar to Cell in a way, depending on how you want to go about and just use your overall android character. Now, it stumped me at first because when I first played Xenoverse, I wondered to myself, like, why weren't the androids included? Maybe it's because they were similar to humans in a way, but then again, you can't really compare someone like Android 1920 and Android 13 to someone like, you know, Krillin or TM, because they're all different in what they do. The androids always absorbed energy and stuff, so that would have made them like a very beast class. So I wanted to know from you here today, my first question, of course, would be, how do you think an android class would even work out? I mean, would they have included more of like biological androids onto the team, like somewhat like Android 17 and 18, or do you think like the classes of androids ought to have a separation and have it to where there are a bunch of energy draining androids and evolutionists such as Android 19, 20, and Super Android 13, because we saw how different Android 17 and 18 were compared to 19 and 20. So like with this class of androids, like, do you think the class of androids would even like work out to begin with, or do you think it's just too much to add within Xenoverse and it wouldn't make any sense?
I wouldn't say it's too much to add in particular, because you're pretty much putting a human in,
right,
but tweaking a little bit of things, right? So one thing that needs to be for an android class is the absorption of energy.
But here's the difference. Would you have biological androids, or would you have the energy draining evolutionist androids? Because there's a big difference between, again, a huge difference between androids 19, 20, 17, and 18.
I would want to say we want 17 and 18.
So you would want to have more like biological androids?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that?
Because it not only for the fans to kind of like, I guess, trick their opponents in a way, because they look like humans, but then all of a sudden when you're fighting them, there's a huge twist to it, because there's a whole different way you need to fight an android, because they can absorb energy, which needs to be in there if they put an android class. Not only that, but
they shouldn't lose energy. We saw it in the show. They never lost energy when they fought.
Never lost energy. Exactly.
That should be something that never goes down. I think it's the gauge, like the energy gauge. That should always like be high, because when the androids fought, like, they always had such high stamina, like nobody was able to keep up. So you're going along the lines of biological androids. Okay, I mean that's very good, because that leads into my second question, which is, would you have it to where the androids can reach a perfect like form similar to Cell, or would you have it to where you can build your own Cell-like character separate from the android class that falls within the android class, but again, like, you have the option of choosing either a male, a female, or you can choose like a Cell-like character,
I was gonna say
like a bio life form. So do you think it would fit within the game, like, or do you think that would just be overkill?
It might be overkill, might not be in this next game, but it has to be something in the future. I agree. I was gonna say that they should have both android classes, boy, girl, and then a Cell-like creature where you can actually hit those forms and actually, you know, rank up like that, because that makes a lot of sense for someone who wants to be in the same level as a Saiyan God or Namekian God. But the thing with androids that gives them the biggest, I guess, and you got to use it smart, because it can also be your biggest weakness. The biggest strength for an android would be absorption of energy, right? So pretty much you blast the Kamehameha wave at me and I could absorb it to a certain point, though, because once it hits a certain point, I would want this to be the bad part, because some people could just stay there and absorb everything, which is not what you want.
That would be like the ultimate spam, dude. You just stand there and just absorb everyone's attacks.
Pretty much, it's like in Halo, okay?
Right.
Like in Halo, when you're shooting a gun, like a laser gun, right? You can only shoot it to a certain point before it overheats.
Yeah.
So you can, like, the comparison I'm making is you can only take in so much before you overheat and hurt yourself tremendously. So you gotta use it smart. You can't just always use it. You gotta use it smart when you need it the most.
I wonder how that's gonna apply to like spirit bombs, because that's a lot of energy.
You'd have to sacrifice some of your health, but also you get me, like suck in some of the energy and sacrifice some of your health. It won't do as much damage, but you won't hurt yourself by absorbing too much energy. You get me? It's kind of like you don't want to happen what happened to Meta Cooler.
Right, right, right.
Exactly.
I mean, again, like I've always wanted to make my own Cell character, like customize like his horns or whatever, add something different, because every single time I look online, there are all these people creating like their own fan images of how Cell looks, or maybe having like an evolutionary form. Like I remember like looking at certain pictures to where Cell had like a super Cell form. It was pretty crazy. And of course, I mean, I would love to incorporate that within my character as well. But my third question to that is, like, what would set the android class apart from the other classes that would make someone want to choose that race over the rest, and why?
Well, the biggest part, like I said, would have to be energy absorption. Another one would have to be, you don't lose energy. You just gain energy. That would be pretty essential for you to keep up with God classes of all the other classes or races.
Yeah.
That would need to be essential if you want to balance out every character, and it would be up to the developers in order to find out a good balance. But I believe that's what would set them out. Would you want to be someone who transforms but wastes a lot of energy, or be an android who absorbs energy, but you got to do it smartly. You can't be dumb about it, right? Who does it smartly? You gotta actually use it tactical wise, but at the same time you don't lose energy.
Now speaking of that, like, what would be the difference between the male and female versions of the androids and Perfect Cell? Like, why I mean, because I'm pretty sure 95% of the people, if they ever saw like those three options fall under that class, they will automatically jump on the Cell bandwagon. Now, what would you incorporate within like the android class, the male and the female, that would differ from the actual Cell creature class? Because again, like, the energy absorption would be great, and the very high stamina. But like, what else would separate that? Like, would it be like the customizable features, or would it be something else, like the movesets perhaps?
I would have to say it'd be the movesets and the customizable human features, because it would be pretty much a human,
right,
with android features. You get me?
Okay. And
so
what about the creature?
With the creature, it would have to be kind of around the Namekian kind of customization, but then they could transform like how Cell does to better forms and to better himself. You get me?
So you don't believe that would be overkill as to adding on too much in the game?
I do believe it would be overkill for the next game, but it's definitely something that can be added either or to the next game. But for both, it would need to be later on down the road, in my opinion, of course.
So why do you think they never included the android class within Xenoverse? Because again, judging based how Xenoverse played out, people still play it to this day. It's a very interactive game. It's very fun. But why is it that certain people always had a bias towards other classes and stuff? Because even till this day, if you go on Xenoverse Online and you play, a lot of people often choose the same classes over and over again. I'm guilty of that, because I would also choose either the Frieza Clans race or the Saiyans over and over again. But in terms of like the future, in terms of like for Xenoverse 2, the android class, like, do you think that would have its own purpose in terms of like campaign and multiplayer, or do you think it's just gonna be there just to tell the people, hey, so we have the class here just to shut you guys up, and that's that? Like, how like where do you see the vision for Xenoverse 2 in terms of like this class? Like, do you think it's possible, and do you think it's more than likely to happen, or do you think it's just going to be another fan wish list check moments where people are just going to be like, you know what, I wish we had it, but we're never going to have it?
It would have it's all to developers, right? How much they want to put into the game, and if they want to make a perfect game, which no one wants to make a perfect game when they're making games, because they want to make money, they want to always have something to improve on. So at this point in time, I want it to be, if they do make an android actual class, it's not going to be how we described it. It's going to be
I'm sure it's going to be very really different than how we described it.
It's going to be really toned down and needs a lot of improvement. It'll kind of be like the Majin class that we saw last Xenoverse.
Think of Dragon Ball Heroes, because Dragon Ball Heroes had such a different variety of androids. Like, I remember like every single time you would watch one of the trailers or like some of the cutscenes and stuff, you would see, you know, like a few set of those androids, like with the trailers and stuff. So they could have it to where it's similar, but again, that all depends on the basis here, because if it works, then yeah, I mean, I bet you a bunch of people will buy into it, and they'll gradually, you know, get it and play as the androids and stuff. But like what are your final thoughts as to like what Cell, well, in terms of like what the Cell creature stats would be like?
Cell's creature stats. Oh, well, Cell was pretty OP.
Yeah, it was.
So Cell's creature stats have to be. I think that's what they wouldn't have a god form, right? They would have a regular form, and let's just say a perfect form. That's what I think they should have, or a regular form or second form, then a perfect form, of course. And what I think would be the difference is that they have all their stats boost. You get me?
Okay. I mean, so you would have evolutionary stages.
I would have 1 or 2, kind of like how Cell had.
Does that include like a possible god stage or no?
No god stage.
Okay, good. Okay.
But yeah, because that'd be too overkill.
Yes.
Because the whole point of the Cell thing is that you have different cells and different DNA of everyone, right?
Right.
So, when you transform, let's say I'm gonna give it 1 transformation because it could be 2 OP. 1 transformation, but Cell, everything increases, nothing goes down.
Okay.
So that would be the difference. Do you want to be a Saiyan where if you turn Super Saiyan, it could only last for this long? That increases, but this decreases. Or do you want to be a Cell that transforms once? It might not be as strong as a god, but gods just are, let's say they're getting weaker as the fight goes on, but Cell stays at tip top, you know, at the top. You get me?
That would make for like such chaotic battles online, because like people would want to transform fast. People would want to like get certain things out the way quicker than others, because they know like at a certain point someone's going to transform into something, and that's going to cause a lot of problems. So any final thoughts going into like the android class? Because if there's anything you felt like you missed out or something, or anything you feel like should be included, like what would that be?
Well, I do want to say something. A lot of people have come to me. I don't know why to me. I guess because I was really into the whole online scene, right? Being ranked #1 at one point. A lot of people came to me saying we need an android class, and there was actually a good amount of people that supported that. Now it wouldn't be as much as a Saiyan or Arcosian or Frieza Clansman, or maybe even a Namekian and Boo if they do it right. But it would be that diversity that some people would want. Some people would want to be an android, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't see why some people would not want to like dive out and become like, you know, biological, or just, you know, have that premise, because there are fans out there that are huge fans of like, you know, the Red Ribbon Army and stuff. So I could definitely see your point on that. If you guys have your own opinions onto the android class, if you guys want to include anything, comment down below and let us know. Once again, guys, thank you all for watching. If you guys are Dragon Ball fans, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way you guys don't miss a single Dragon Ball update or video. If you guys enjoyed, slap a like. Leave your thoughts down below if you guys disagreed as well. Comment as to why you guys disagree in terms of having an android class down below. Check out JRZ saying down in the description, guys. Thank you all for watching. Tune in for more, and we'll be seeing you guys in the next update. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.